the number of tracks are subdivided into number of sectors. This is the main example for secondary memory, and it provides random access storage media. So whatever the operation I want to perform on the optical disc, that is carried with the help of light technology. DVDs are capable to store large amount of data than CD disk. Hello to all, a warm welcome to my new session. I am Revati, Faculty, Department of Computer Science, Vidhyaashram Pre-University College, Temple of Excellence, Mysuru. Today we are on the 9th session of second chapter, and the chapter name is Input, Output and Memory Device. Moving further, in my today's session, I'm going to deal with what is floppy disk. Along with that, I'm going to deal with what is optical disk and what is optical track. Before going to start my today's session, let me to recall the things what I had discussed in my previous session. In my previous session, I started with what is secondary storage memory. So what is secondary memory? So here, when we have large number of data and we cannot able to fix that data into the primary memory, that time we required secondary memory. That means it provides large storage space for the user. And this secondary memory is also called backup memory or auxiliary memory. And some of the examples for secondary memory is nothing but hard disk, that is nothing but magnetic disk. Along with that, we had discussion regarding magnetic tape and the usage of magnetic tape. But in my today's session, I'm going to deal with floppy disk. Now tell me why I required floppy disk. Here I required floppy disk to store the data. Then now tell me what kind of accessing it is going to provide. Here it is going to provide random access. That means the user can able to write the data or read the data randomly. So this is the example for random access memory. And floppy disk uses thin circular disk. I repeat, here floppy disk is going to use thin circular disk. Consider this diagram. So here I'm going to have thin disk, and this disk is mainly used to store the data. And we are going to have outer jacket. That means suppose if I want to protect my thin circular disk, I'm going to use the outer jacket. So it is a soft magnetic disk. That means here floppy disk is also called soft magnetic disk. It is coated disk containing in a flexible or semi-rigid protective jacket. That means here the floppy disk is made up of some flexible or semi-rigid jacket in order to protect the circular disk. That means here the floppy disks are made by using thin material. So I want to protect my thin material. For that reason, I'm going to use the semi-rigid protective jacket. So that is the outer cover is called semi-protective, that is semi-rigid protective jacket. So what is the speed of the floppy disk? That is 360 rotation per minute. That means the disk is capable to rotate 360 rotation per minute. So here the floppy disk is going to have read and write head, and that is responsible for making physical contact with the disk surface. Along with that, data is recorded as a series of tracks. Here, the volume of the floppy disks are divided into number of tracks. Further, the number of tracks are subdivided into number of sectors, and now the number of sectors are capable to store the data. In the floppy disk, the volume of the floppy disk, so here volume is nothing but the capacity of the floppy disk, is further divided into number of tracks. Further, the number of tracks are further divided into number of sectors. Inside the sector, we are going to store the data. Now tell me, what is the size of floppy disk? That means here the floppy disk is capable to store 1.4 MB. What is MB? That is megabits per data. What is MB? Here MB is nothing but megabyte of data. Then what is the capacity of floppy disk? That is 1.44 megabytes of data. Then what is the size of the floppy disk? So here the size of the floppy disk is 3.5 inches. Disk drives for floppy disks are called floppy drives. That means we are going to have the floppy disk. Then how I can able to insert my floppy disk to the computer system? For that reason, I required drive. So I'm going to have the drive, that drive itself called floppy drive. That means with the help of floppy drive, I can able to insert my floppy disk. Then here floppy disk are slower to access. That means the accessing speed of the floppy disk are very slow compared to magnetic tape or magnetic disk, and it provides less storage capacity. That means here floppy disks are capable to store very small amount of data, and it is less expensive. So dear student, what are the points you want to remember? That is nothing but the here floppy disks are made by using thin circular disk, and here the floppy disks are mainly used to store the data. Along with that, it is protected by the outer jacket. Along with that, what is the rotating speed here? That is nothing but 360 rotation per minute, and the floppy disk is going to use read and write head in order to make the physical contact with the disk surface. Along with that, we are going to have the size of floppy disk. That means what is the size of floppy disk here? It is 3.5 inch. And what is the capacity? That is storage capacity we are going to have. That is 1.44 megabytes of data. That means here floppy disk is capable to store 1.44 megabytes of data. Along with that, we required floppy drive. That means to insert my floppy disk, I required floppy drive, and it is less expensive compared to magnetic tape and magnetic disk. Along with that, it provides very less storage space. Moving further, I'm going to have the optical disk. Now tell me why I required optical disk and what is the use of optical disk. So here I required optical disk to store my data, and this is the main example for secondary storage device. That is, this is the main example for secondary memory, and it provides random access storage media. That means the user can capable to read and write the data randomly, and it is made up of glasses. So here the optical discs are made by using glasses, and in order to read and write the data, I'm going to use laser beam. So optical disc uses light technology. That means whatever the operation I want to perform on the optical disc, that is carried with the help of light technology. So if I tell it is light technology, then I'm going to have laser beam. That means here I'm going to use laser beam to write and read the data. An optical disk storage system consists of rotating disk. That means here the optical disk storage system once again includes rotating disk, which is coated with thin metal surface. Here optical discs are made by using thin metal, and this type of disc uses laser beam technology for read or write data. That means this kind of technology is mainly going to use laser beams. That is nothing but the lighting technology in order to read the data as well as in order to write the data. Due to the use of laser beam technology, optical discs are known as laser disc or optical laser disc. That means the another name for optical disc is nothing but the laser disc and optical laser disc. That means here the optical discs are called by the name of laser disc or optical laser disc. An optical disc has no longer track. That means here whatever the volume, that is storage capacity we are going to have, that is not divided. That means here we are not going to have any long track. Instead of that, we are going to have outer edge and spiral inwards to the center. That means whatever the storage capacity we are going to have, that is not divided in the form of tracks as well as sectors. Instead of that, we are going to have outer edge along with the spiral that is towards the center. So if I tell it is spiral, then how it looks like? That is, it looks like spiral and it is inwards to the center. That means it comes inside the center. The optical disc has no mechanical read and write or movement. That means here we are not going to have any read or write physical movement. So these are the some of the features of optical disc. Then what is the advantages of optical disc? In that first one, the cost per bit of the storage for optical disc is very low. That means the cost required to store the data on the optical disc are very slow and it is cost effective. It uses single spiral track, make optical disc an ideal storage medium. That means if I consider magnetic tape or magnetic disk or floppy disk, the capacity of the storage medium is divided into number of sectors as well as number of tracks. But in optical disc, we are going to have the spiral track that is towards center. Optical disc have no mechanical read or write. That means in optical disc, we are not going to have any physical movement. That means we are not going to have any write head surface or any read head surface. Suppose if I want to write the data onto my optical disc, or if I want to read the data from the optical disc, I'm going to use the laser beam. That means with the help of light technology, I can able to perform read as well as write operation. Moving further, the last point here is due to their compact size and lightweight, optical discs are easy to handle, store and port from one place to another. That means the size of the optical discs are very small, lightweight. For that reason, it is very portable. That means you can able to carry your optical disc one place to another place very easily. Moving further, let's see the disadvantages of optical disc. What is the first disadvantage? That is the data access speed for optical disc is very slow than magnetic disc. What is the first disadvantage I'm going to have? That is the data accessing speed is very low, which is compared to our magnetic disc. Then the optical disc requires a more complicated drive mechanism than magnetic. So here, whatever the drive mechanism we are going to have, that is very complex than other magnetic disc mechanism. Moving further, let's see the types of optical laser disc or optical disc. So there are three types of optical disc, that is CD-ROM, DVD-ROM and BD-ROM. Let's see the definition of laser disc along with the abbreviations of laser disc. Moving further, at the beginning, I'm going to have CD-ROM. So what is CD-ROM? Here CD stands for compact disk read only memory. So what is read only memory? That means once the data is written into the compact disk, then you cannot able to erase or modify. That means you can able to read the data many times, but you can able to write the data only once. So it is read only optical storage medium. And what is the capacity of CD-ROM? That is 682 megabytes of data. That means by using CD-ROM, I can able to store 682 megabytes of data. Accessing of data from CD-ROM is quite a bit faster. That means to access the data which is stored in the CD-ROM is quite faster when comparing to other storage device. To read a CD-ROM, a device called CD-ROM drive is required. That means suppose if I want to place my CD-ROM, then I must have CD-ROM driver. With the help of CD-ROM driver, I can able to place my CD-ROM, then I can able to read the data. CD technology uses a near infrared laser. That means here the CD-ROM technology uses infrared technology. That means when I'm going to use infrared laser, once again it is nothing but the light technology, or it is laser beam. That means suppose if I want to write the data onto the CD-ROM, or if I want to read the data which is stored on the CD-ROM, I can able to achieve that one with the help of infrared laser. There are two types of CD-ROMs, that is CDR and CDRW. So what is CDR? That is compact disc recordable. That means recordable CD. Along with that, I'm going to have rewritable CD. So if I tell CDR, then it is recordable CD. Along with that, I'm going to have rewritable compact disc. These are the two different types of CD-ROM. Moving further, I'm going to have DVD. So this is also the another type of compact disc. This is the example for random access memory. So here DVD-ROM, that is digital versatile disc. So here the DVD stands for digital versatile disc, read only memory. DVD discs are able to store much more data than CD disc. That means the storage capacity of DVD are higher than CD. That means here the DVDs are capable to store large amount of data than CD disc. As I told, the storage capacity of DVD is larger. So here the DVDs are capable to store 30 gigabytes of data, whereas the CDs are capable to store 685 megabytes of data, whereas the DVDs are capable to store 30 gigabytes of data. Here DVD-ROM disk can be read from but cannot be written to. That means once your DVD is written, then you cannot able to write once again. So it is called read only. That means you can capable to read the content which is present on your DVD many times, but you can able to write the data only once. So here DVD-ROM disk can be read from but cannot be write to. That means you can able to read the data n number of times, but it is possible to write the data only once. Here DVD-ROM, that is digital versatile disk, random access memory, have all the benefits comparing to CD random access memory. By using DVD, the user can capable to write the data only once, and the user can able to read the data many times. So here DVDs are classified into two types, DVD-ROM and DVD-RAM. Now I'm going to have DVD-RAM, that is DVD, digital versatile disk random access memory. Here DVD-RAM disks have all the benefits of DVD-ROM disk, and it can also write to. That means here the DVD-RAM going to include all the features of DVD-ROM. Along with that, the name itself indicates that you can able to write the data many times at the same time. You can also able to read the data many times. These very high capacity disk, that means the capacity of DVD-RAM is also very high. For that reason, it is mainly used for backup purpose. Along with that, it is also used to store high quality video. So here the DVDs are classified into two types, that is DVD-ROM and DVD-RAM. And most of the situation we are going to use DVD-RAM because the user can capable to write the data many times and the user can capable to read the data many times. For that reason, it is mainly used to store large amount of data. At the same time, it is used to store high quality video as complete movie. That means suppose if I want to store my movie, which device I'm going to use? Most frequently, I'm going to use DVD random access memory. Then I'm going to have Bluray Disc. It is also called BD Disc. So here the Blu-ray disc is referred as BD. BD means Blu-ray disc. It is a high capacity storage device, and what is the capacity here? That is 25 gigabytes of data to 50 gigabytes of data, and it is mainly used to store HD movies and other information. That means here Blu-ray disc is once again mainly used to store huge amount of data and high quality of data. So here Blu-ray discs are mainly used to store HD movies, and what is the capacity here? That is 25 gigabytes of data to 50 gigabytes of data. The name Blu-ray is derived from the blue-violet color laser. That means the name came from the word or technology that is blue-violet color laser, and it is mainly used to read the data which is stored on the disk. So here the blue-violet color laser is a technology and it is mainly used to read the data which is stored on the disk. So these are the few features of Blu-ray disc. So here Blu-ray disc is nothing but the BD disc, and it provides high storage space. And what is the capacity? That is 25 gigabyte of data to 50 gigabytes of data, and it is mainly used to store HD movies. So here the Blu-ray discs are derived from the technology that is blue-violet color laser. So dear student, in my today's session we started with what is secondary storage device. Along with that we had discussion regarding floppy disk, then optical disk. Under optical disk, we discussed what is CD. Along with that, we had discussion regarding CD-ROM and CD-RAM. Along with that, we had discussion regarding Blu-ray disc. Dear student, in my next session, I am going to meet with some more information about secondary storage device. Until then, keep learning and keep watching. Thank you.